Hi guys, welcome back to another quick card pull. This is being filmed on Thursday, August 20th, 2026. Today we're pulling from the Dragon Tarot cards. So we're starting off with the Nine of Pentacles. There is a rebirth going on. So some healers are confirming that some of us are going through this rebirth in our life. Getting a lot of pentacle energy here. I feel like grounding forces. I feel like because it's been so emotional, you may have had disruptions in your life, as that I'm calling them. Nine of Cups. So lots of positive cards coming out here. Five of Cups. That's what I'm saying. Things are emotional. So a lot of great confirmation here. But that's what I feel like with the Nine of Pentacles are saying. So some of you, they keep on bringing up pregnancy. So I know someone close to me that's pregnant. Some of you are worried about an individual around you. Page, yeah, see? We're getting this like sorrowful feelings, like Page of Pentacles, something in 3 weeks' time. So this is something I've been asking Spirit, and Anastasia was telling us, if you're not getting the answers you're seeking, we have to reword it. So I said, I understand this. I hear your messages. Thank you for, bringing me those messages. But I'm not understanding why you're telling me not to and why this repercussion would happen. You know what I mean? So it's like, can you clarify that for me? So waiting for that clarification. Yeah, temperance, and balance yourself through this time. And that's the thing, because when we don't see what's ahead of us, it's the unknown is a word that I keep on getting in personal readings or talking to, like, some of the people I read for, or, some of them are my tribe, like, because I've been reading for them for years, and some of them are closer than that, soul sisters, soul brothers. You know what I mean? This is where it's just like, I cannot see or hear, I'm getting different kinds of inklings, but I'm like, okay, but can you clarify that a little bit more? Can you give me a little bit more? Can you give me a little bit more crumbs, or a little bit, like a tidbit of something, so I understand where you're coming from, so I can, someone that likes to have plan B through Z. You know what I mean? If this isn't going to work, let me figure something else out. So we figured something out, changing our perspective. That's why I'm just like, Ace of Pentacles. So keep on getting these rebirths in our life. I'm just like getting the cards. Seven of Swords in the reverse, and then Ten of Cups upright. So this is what I'm saying. Like, they keep on giving us positive confirmations. So going from not be so Five of Cups, so not be, concentrating on the sorrowfulness, but they're like balance it. So very Libra scales again. Things are about to balance out. I'll show all these cards. Don't worry. Just one second. I just want to give a quick shout out to everybody, the new followers on my accounts. Like, thank you so much for following me, for supporting me. If you are looking for a personal reading, there's links in all my bios, or you can direct message me on whatever app that you're on. If it takes a little bit longer, especially Sunday through Thursday, I'm working a regular 9 to 5 job. I do try to get back to in a timely manner. Like, I have someone that does monitor my social medias and takes care of it for me, so while I'm working. So, if they see something, they may not reply because they'll wait for me to do it. So I'm not ignoring you. It's just trying to keep up with everything. Seven of Pentacles. These are seedlings that you've sprouted. So remember, if you followed my account before, or there's a reason why you started following my account, they were showing in my mind's eye like a new sprout, a new seedling. So again, where I'm saying to Spirit, like, can you clarify, or can you give me more information on why you're telling me not to do this thing that I feel like we should do? Like, there's nothing bad about it. It's just they're saying there's a repercussion. So I'm just like, and yesterday, was it yesterday or the day before? I remember they said it's up to you, right? But they did say, like, this is the consequence. So it's to avoid that consequence, don't do it. You know what I mean? So I feel like it's being patient, and that's a word that keeps coming up for a lot of us, is being patient. As the seedlings are sprouting, even though we can't see it, being patient and allow those to come forward. So we're waiting for those to come forward. That's all we can do, unfortunately. Like, sometimes you could go to the cards, and like, if you have your own tarot cards, like I keep on telling everybody, and this is, again, I am not paid by them. I've been, I always shout out their name. I've been following them for even when Shane was here for decades. So astrologyanswers.com. They do have the tarot deck meanings. You can go into your search bar. So 444, that is something that keeps highlighting. So if you've had disruptions in the home, you know what I mean? I feel like this is where Spirit is saying, hey, don't worry, you got this. We got you. It's turning around. All of this is coming to an end. All this disruption. So because there's two eclipse energies, some people are being affected, some people aren't. God bless if you're not. Asalu, don't worry about it. Don't even wonder about it. Don't even put that in your language or vocabulary. Don't worry about it. Just be thankful and keep enjoying your life. You know what I mean? Like, don't allow, like, the thing is, we're learning to, I hate saying this, dance through the storm. But we got to learn to trust even when it's chaotic. It's that, you know, we don't just turn to whomever we believe in when it's chaotic. We turn to them all the time. You know what I mean? Like, everybody that has faith in God will say God is always good. Even when I'm going through this, I know God got me. Like, you know what I mean? So whatever faith, and this is not me pushing this on you, whatever you believe in, it is going to turn around. It is turning around. It is coming to an end. They're like, say it with your chest out, right? So we were talking about Libra scales here. Justice. If you have something legally going on or something that has to deal with the courts or government, I feel like, because it's a higher authority, this will turn out. So they're showing the Libra scales. They're showing how the scales are going to balance. I love dragons. I know people speak ill of dragons, you know what I mean, because adversary, blah, blah, blah. I believe all God's creations are beautiful. So I have a really strong draw to dragons. I believe in Yahweh Yeshua. I'm not a bad person. You know what I mean? There's just a big stigmatism with snakes and dragons and da-da-da-da. But I feel like that's why they're saying, like, even though you don't know what is coming forward, you will slay this. It feels like a beast because you want to overcome it and you're working on it. And we all think that everything's going to be instantaneously. Everything's going to work out instantly. Why? Because if we want to know any information or anything, it's instantly there for us. You know, we buy, you know, things online. You could pay for expedited shipping. Like, you know what I mean? So it's just like, they're saying gratification. I feel like because it's serotonin, like, you know, there's a certain, when you get something, especially when I definitely was excited about something and just what everything that was going on. I was like, it's not that I'm not grateful. I'm just, with everything, and I feel like they understand that. With everything going on, I can't be excited. But I'm starting to get excited now. But where I was a few days ago, and that's the thing you got to remember, guys. If something is going a certain way, it will not be like that. Where I was on Monday and where I am today, like, a lot of that is lifted. So we had a big thing going on at work. We got a whole new system and everything like that. And it's just been a headache. So it's very mentally draining. Everyone's like, oh, your job is so easy. Anyone can do it. Really? Then why isn't everyone doing it if it's so damn easy? It is so taxing. When it's good, it's good. When it's taxing, it's exhausting. You know what I mean? So that's why I'm saying things are turning out for the better. You know what I mean? Do not take this as a defeat. Do not take this as something permanent. You know, some of the things, like the one thing that was exhausting me, you know what I mean? It was already on this calendar. It was already scheduled and everything. It was a no. That's fine. Delayed or denied is not forever. That may not be an option. That's okay. Because Spirit is, they're showing opening a door. This is it's like the energy oracle cards, door to Spirit. They're opening another opportunity for you. So don't, again, because her eyes are blindfolded. Sometimes they're showing the ears very, I think that's 8 of Swords or 9 of Swords. You know what I mean? Where her ears are covered as well. It's like, just because you don't have the answers right now, like I'm asking for clarification or if they could give me a little bit more. It's like they did. They like I said, keep your eye on your For You pages and everything. There was, on my alarm app, they send messages and I can't remember verbatim the wording, but it was like, just because you're off your path a bit, it's like, just because things don't usually look like what they always look like, you will recover. And that is the biggest thing. A lot of us, and that's why we go to tarot healers and everything like that, is because we just need hope. We just need to hear, even though we know in our heart of hearts it's going to be okay. That's what I'm saying. Look at through the cycles through your life. You've always come out the winner. It may not look exactly like you wanted, but you still are, you know, I feel like walking with, and again, this is not pushing it, whomever you believe in, even if it's yourself, walking in that, knowing that you have that hope and that faith is better than basically like this, walking, you know, not being able to see or hear. 10 of Pentacles. Absolute yes. Whatever you're worried about, absolutely yes, everything is going to work out. Whatever is on your mind. Maybe you asked a question. Maybe some people will sit there before they watch a reading. They resonate with the healer. Okay, I'm going to ask this question. I'm going to pause the video. Let's see what they say. Everybody's different how they interpretate. And again, this is guidance. You are in control. Chariot energy. You are holding the reins. I just posted that our Viking rune. That is chariot energy. You are taking the reins. Just because you don't have the information, the knowledge yet, the wisdom, the experience, doesn't mean that you are, I hate to say these words, dumb or stupid. You just haven't experienced yet. You don't have the information yet. So now you're going to have the information. With myself, now that I have that information, if anyone ever asks me, hey, yes, this is how you do it. This is the number you call. This is the options you press, and you'll either get someone or you get a call back. At least now I'll be like, hey, yeah, I've experienced that. Here's the number. You know what I mean? So it's just like, you never know. Unfortunately, in the climate we're in, it's a lot. But this is a happy home life, happy children. Maybe you live in a multiple generation family. They're showing stability in the home. You know, happy fur babies. Like, this is a very positive card. We've been getting this a lot, saying like, even though things are a little, you know, mush, you can see with your eyes 1111. So that's, you know, the 4 of Wands. So again, Spirit is saying celebrations are coming. Good times are coming. You know what I mean? Don't, just because it looks like this right now doesn't mean it's going to look like this forever. 9 of Cups, another positive card. That's what I'm saying. We're getting a lot of positive omens that things are turning around in our favor. You know, you don't know what the future is. Like I said, the word unknown keeps coming up. You know, I feel like a lot of people feel like that right now. Things look like this, but just because they do, it may look very different than what you're used to, but it's still going to work out. Just because I feel like, you know, again, you don't have the experience with this. It's a brand new experience. Wait until you get all the information and then make a conclusion. I feel like that, there you go. Spirit just answered my question. Just because I can't see it right now, they're saying it's going to turn out, just trust. You know what I mean? I could see that they're trying to avoid, you know, a situation. And I appreciate that warning. I am very appreciative. It's not that I'm like, it's just because there's a lot of things going on right now at once. It's like a lot of things are calling for my attention right now. And it's hard to spin all the plates, you know, and that's like, this is one thing. It's like, can you give me a little bit more understanding here? A little bit more light or a little bit more wisdom, whatever it is, or, you know, like this, like, you know, literally, like they said, it hasn't played out yet, so you can't see it. So don't make permanent decisions out of temporary emotions. And I feel like that's like with myself, I am an emotional person. I am sensitive. So I'm like, oh, I got to do X, Y, and Z. And then I'm like, I didn't need to do that, you know? And then it's like, well, you know, listen to that. We have the 5 of Cups, and this is what they're saying. You're concentrating on the situation, what you believe it is. So 3 cups are down and 2 are remaining. But you know what? At least 2 are remaining. You know, don't look at the value. Don't look at the situation of the quantity. Look at the quantity. You know what I mean? There's still 2 cups remaining. All cups could be down. Like Better Call Saul. We could always make it 0. It's like, oh my God. The delivery guy comes. Someone said that to him. We could always make it 0. But the delivery guy comes and he's ticked off because someone said it to him. And the guy's like, a whole $1. Like, he only tipped him $1. He's like, we could always make it 0. I'm like, damn, that was mean. Like, I understand that was his last of his money, but, you know, he was doing probation. And he's just like, come on. He only gave him, I think he only gave him for 2 hours. He did the most work. He picked up the most garbage. He was working on his phone because he's running a business. And the probation officer is an ass. And he's just like, come on, you could do better than that. And he's like, we could always make it 0. So, you know what I mean? I get it. I'm like that too. It's like, oh yeah? I'm gonna make your life a living hell now. So 3 of Wands. This is what I was saying, like, while I was shuffling the cards while I was doing my intro. It's just like, you know what? We have your back. And that's the most important thing. You are not walking in this alone. On the earthly experience, you may not be surrounded physically by, so see where I'm saying with these little sproutlings? Those are not supposed to be there. That's what I'm saying. In my mind's eye, there was a card that did not have any sproutlings. And that's what I was seeing. There's a rebirth happening here. Going back to that 7 of Pentacles energy, there is something here that you manifested. Could be multiple things. I only saw one. But I'll be transparent. Like, I'm not going to lie to you and say, oh yeah, I saw multiple. But that's what they're saying. There's something brand new coming in here that you don't have all the information for. And that's what they're saying. We have your back. You know what I mean? Your tribe, your soul sisters, your soul brothers, whomever those people are, they may not be in your everyday life, but they support you. You have a lot more support. And they always, and this is going back to the Five of Cups and not to be an a-hole, but it's like, you don't realize how many things we block is what they're bringing to my mind right now. How many things we block on a day-to-day that don't come into your life. You know what I mean? How many things we stop. You know, not to be a dick or anything like that, but that's what they're bringing up. It's like, we block a lot of things. We support you, and that's the most important thing. So they're looking over a body of water, and this is like, you know, superior. One's supporting themselves, and the other two are spirit. Yahweh, Yeshua, Divine Creator. So very holy trinity with threes, and threes are also communication with our ancestors. So my dad is very strong. So I always talk to my dad, like, you know, sometimes he comes through. Sometimes it's just, you know, signs and symbols. Like, I feel like they can, I don't think interfere, but I think they can help in so much, but I feel like they can't, like, you know what I mean? Someone that I think should be around is not around, and I'm like, what the hell is that about? You know what I mean? So again, a new experience. That's why I'm not trying to say too much and run them down, because I'm just like, you know, like, hello, you know, this is the time that we need, you know what I mean? Like, come on, step up in here, you know? So again, don't have all the experience with this situation, so that's why I'm like, I'm not, I get ticked off, but I'm just like, I'll just be quiet until I have more information. Page of Pentacles. So 3 weeks time, we keep getting this. So the new moon that is coming up, they are talking about, so highlighting the crown chakra, they are highlighting that you will have more information. Reading a book. So here they're taking notes. So that, again, this is channel messages. I was literally talking to my girlfriend's daughter about this. I did a reading for her, and I was like, you know, keep paper and pen by your bed. Try to write. I know it's so hard. It's such a hard habit to get into. But when I get them, they keep repeating it to me, and I'm like, just turn over, girl, and write it down. Sometimes I can't even read it. It looks like Shane wrote it. And I write it down. And then it's like, I'll write it in my books that I have. And I write it down, the date, that, you know, if I roughly remember the time, because I ain't picking up my phone. And I write it down. And I put a check mark by it, and I keep it open, because I'm like, Spirit, I heard you. I put a check mark because, you know, I wrote it in my book. I heard you. I appreciate you. Thank you for the messages. And I keep it there because it's like, you sent me that message. When it gets full, I'll flip it over. Or when it's completely done, I'll just rip it up, and I have it in my book, so I know. This date, this is what they told me. You know, so like, one of my girlfriends, they'll literally say her name over and over again and start spelling it out. So I guess, like, to make sure who I know what, because, you know, her name is a common name. It can be spelled many different ways. So I'm like, okay, but it's always her. Like, I know, you know what I mean? Who else would it be? You know what I mean? But it's just like, okay, like, you know, I'm like, I don't know why they're calling your name to my attention, but, you know, maybe you're like, oh, Jen should reach out or something. So I'm just like, you know, everything good? I should reach out because they're mentioning her a lot. I know she's going through the same thing with me at work, so I just don't want to bug her. But, you know what I mean? This is what they're saying. So September 12th through 3rd, like that time period, the 12th through the 16th, the 12th through the 17th, a lot of this is going to shift. Pluto will go direct in October. So that's going to alleviate a lot of this. There's also Mercury retrograde again. You know what I mean? Do your meditations. I've been doing, following Sound Healer Cody. He does one for anxiety, and I do that before work. I do it before I go to bed. You know what I mean? It's just, I feel like it's just like, again, finding things that ground you. So it's just like, I know, like, meditation grounds me. I definitely benefited a lot, especially when I started my tarot journey and really working on healing myself. The Christmas after we moved up north, that Christmas to New Year's felt like 10 years. And I said, you know what? I obviously I still cry about it, but I'm just like, I am sick of crying. I'm sick of feeling this way. I need to show up for my kids. I need to show up for my kids. They deserve the best life ever because they did not ask for any of this. So as I was saying that, 1919. So 10, very world card, things coming to an end. And I was just like, it's not that I don't love him anymore and I don't feel bad or anything like that. Not that my grief has ever ended. It's just like, I am choosing, as hard as this battle may be, I'm choosing to move forward. And I'm choosing to give my kids the best freaking authentic life that I can give them as possible because they didn't deserve any of this. This is why I just didn't pick anyone to have kids with. You know what I mean? I made sure that they were a good family man. And he definitely showed me, right off the bat. The respect he shows his parents, and you know what I mean? I'm just like, that is a good man. That is someone that you know what I mean? The fact that he had lots of nieces and nephews, and, lots of pictures of him, sitting with them. His niece, like, he was like everything to him. Probably still is. You know what I mean? So it's just like they had a close connection. So that's why I was just like, that is a good person. Great soul, very intellectual, you know what I mean? So it's just like, you know what I mean? It's just, it is what it is. But it's like, even though the journey sometimes gets hard, and you don't have all the answers, you know what I mean? You will be the victor wearing the wreath. You are Six of Wands energy. You are a chariot. You are taking the reins in your life, and you're saying, you know what? F this crap. I'm still going to move forward. I may not have the answers. I may not have the answer today. I may not have the answer tomorrow. I might not have the answer for a year from now, 12 years from now. Eventually I will. I'm going to choose every day, even if it's just getting through the day, to keep moving forward. That's all you can do. We may not have all the answers, but sometimes we get tarot readings. But if you have your cards, going back to astrology answers. If you go in your search engine, whatever you have, Chrome, Safari, whatnot, you can put, or MacBook, I think they have their own. You can put Firefox, they're saying, astrology answers tarot deck meanings. They have the upright and reverse meanings. The reason I'm bringing that up because a lot of people are buying decks because they're easy accessible. Let the cards tell you a story. You shuffle, start laying your cards out. Don't put too much. Don't overwhelm yourself. Put maybe 2, 3, 4. If they look like they go together, keep them together. If this one looks like this is different, put that to the side and put it maybe in the next row. Because it's trying to tell you something. We're telling you this because that is something they're bringing to your attention. This is something different. You know what I mean? So, maybe I should make a video on that, showing how I read cards. Because it may resonate with someone, and maybe it's like, oh, I can do that. I feel that. And get familiar with the definitions, because they're like, this is what you're being told. This is what the cards mean. And it makes sense. Write it down. So Page of Cups, this is where they're saying maybe you're holding on to something, or you're holding on to someone, and a fear they will jump back into the water and swim away. But the thing is, maybe you are just worried about someone, and they are showing you there's hope. I'm sitting there pointing at the camera like you could see my finger. Hold on a second. A lot of talking this week. So you're hanging on to someone in a fear they're going to jump back into the water. I'm like doing it behind the camera like you could see my finger. But I feel like this is spirit, and this came up before. I feel like very crown chakra, like Evil Lynn from He-Man kind of thing, or like what's her name? Sorceress. Even Tila has that kind of framework with the headband. So I feel like very crown chakra, and I feel like this is spirit saying they are going to be okay. Like there's a new door that's opening up. There is some distance here, so I feel like this is a work in progress. So I feel like that's what they're saying. There's still hope here. There is a doorway that has been opened here. So like an opportunity. So very much door to spirit is what they're showing again. This door has opened. Maybe this is, unfortunately, something they had to go through to find their way to spirit. You know what I mean? So, was I hurt as a child to find my way to God? Because I found my way to God pretty quick at a young age. Who knows? But that's what they're showing here. Like, there is a pathway. So there is hope here. So very Five of Cups again, even though it looks a certain way, you know what I mean? There's still hope. There's still 2 cups remaining. It's an emotional situation. We're getting a lot of water and pentacles here. So they're trying to show you the balance here. So usually we get water and fire. You know what I mean? Because they counterpart each other. You have a fire, you can use the water to put it out. You have a lot of emotions, the fire can evaporate the water. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. There's still hope here. So very Temperance. I feel like this is like the strength, because Temperance is strength evolved, where they've gained their wings. You know what I mean? And this is a balance their emotions through emotional situations. Highlighting the crown chakra, usually the pathway leads to the sun. This could be a guardian angel or someone that is very protective of you. Who was I watching? They said everybody should have a son like this. Oh, Björn. They were showing where his mom just Lagatha, killed his father's mistress. Ended up becoming his wife because, Lagatha ended up leaving. So she got her revenge, and he goes, oh, so you got your revenge, and she smirked. But her life was being threatened by his other sons that he had with his mistress. And because she killed her, you know, she was leaving. She wasn't fighting or anything like that. They're like, you couldn't just let her leave. And she's like, nope. You know what I mean? Like, I'm getting my revenge. My pound of flesh is what they're saying. And Bjorn steps in and goes, I'm sorry, my brothers. He goes, if you do this, then you're going to have to kill me too. And they were saying you should have a son like that. So there may be a child, maybe literally a son, because they said the pathway leads to the son. Could be your son or sons that is very that much for you. Not that we want to put our children in that kind of situation where they got, oh, prove to me that you know, blah, blah, blah. You know, no. You know what I mean? Even with Shane. Like, I mean, just Shane's resting bitch face was enough for people to go away. I remember I was coming home from an appointment and I had went grocery shopping or something after. And I took a cab home because it was, you know, and I told Shane to meet me downstairs with the cart. And he goes, the cab driver's like, let me see this man. Let me see who's your husband. He goes, which one's your husband? I said, the one with the grocery cart. Oh, I told Shane that story. And he was just like, what the hell? I was like, you're very intimidating, Shane. He starts laughing. I was just like, oh my God, that's funny. So this is a new one for me, 2552. So maybe that's a number I'll look up later on. I usually try to post angel numbers as well. So 2552. So that may resonate. That may be a number that comes up. I'll try and post that. I know someone asked me for a song that's on one of my angel definitions and stuff. But I'm looking for it. I haven't found it. Funny enough, a lot of people are commenting on the video and she's like, what's the song? I'm like, I'm trying to look for it. Because TikTok is the only one that'll show the song. Because that's where I posted it at first and I used the song. I'm just like, oh my gosh, I'm looking for it. I couldn't find it last night. I'll keep looking today. But 2626 is another one. But this is what I'm saying, balancing your emotions. And I feel like this is where they're saying leads to the sun. So funny enough, again, positive confirmation. If there is a situation where you're worried about, you know, they're saying it's like we're teaching. It's like maybe you're literally like, it looks like conjuring up a potion, like, or maybe you're kind of going back and forth with things, like, you know, trying to figure things out to help them. But it's like while you're in that vulnerable situation, they're protecting you because they know that you're trying to help them. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Maybe you're worried about your relationship or your bond or something like that with a child. And it's just like, no, they see you for who you are. They may not verbalize it. They may not be touchy-feely and, you know, all that stuff. But they're just like, no, there is a bond there. They recognize that bond. They see what you do. They may not verbalize it. You know what I mean? But it's just like, they're saying like, they know you don't need that kind of, oh, thank you for everything you do. Oh my God. Like, they know you don't need that. You'll be like, shut the F up. Like, I just need silence right now. You know what I mean? I don't need to hear all that. You know what I mean? It's just like, you do it because that's who your heart is. That's who your soul is. Like, you know what I mean? If anyone knows you, it's like you pour your heart and soul to everything. And it's just like, they know that. You know what I mean? It's like, and I always tell my kids, I never promise them anything. I said, it's not in my hands. I said, if what I can do in my power, yes, this will happen. But I said, because this is involved, I can't guarantee it. But even if I'm dead tired, I will drag my butt to go to it just so they can have the experience. You know what I mean? Look at this. This looks like a doorway too, does it not? Because they're saying you're balancing the emotions, like, because they can see what you're doing. You're trying to balance the situation. So again, very Libra scales energy. Bringing more balance into the situation, into what's coming. So what we were talking about, the crown, changing our perspective. Red pants, I feel like could be like our root chakra. I feel like also like we won't let you fall. Like you should literally fall on your head. You know what I mean? And they're like, no. And again, I feel like because, quote unquote, in a vulnerable situation, I feel like because you're in your head and there's a lot of things going on, so you may find yourself tired. That's why I was saying sprinkle a little bit of NRC in your water. You don't have, it kind of upsets my stomach sometimes, so I'll like put it in and then you know what I mean? I'll be like, okay, I won't put any more in for the rest of the day because it's upsetting my stomach a bit. And you know what I mean? But it does boost up my energy. So I'm not because I know I still got things to do. I got to take care of things. I know it's going to be a busy day, you know, tomorrow. So by the grace of God, you know what I mean? I like being kept busy because I stay out of my head. But that's what I feel like. Find the things that ground you. So literally in our situation, it's like music soothes the savage beast. So the savage beast may be your shadow thoughts, maybe those intrusive thoughts, those negative thoughts. So it's like, you know, I literally will do that as well. Like, not because of shadow thoughts, but it's like, I want to hear the song. It makes me feel a certain way. You know what I mean? So it's like bringing in things that do that. But again, I feel like because this dragon is bigger too. So it's like kind of reaching maturity or going through puberty. That could be a thing because, when they're going through puberty, they don't say the kindest things. I love the fact that there's a home behind here, and I feel like that's what they're saying. Changing your perspective that, foundation, very emperor energy, you know what I mean? Masculine energy. But I feel like this is what they're saying. It's like, finding things that ground yourself. But even though sometimes you feel vulnerable, this could be your loved ones, ancestors, Yahweh, Yeshua, Divine Creator, Gaia, Mother Earth. They are not going to let you fall. You're not going to fall on your head. Very full card. You're either going to fly or we're your safety net. We're going to push you up. So think about the hawks I always talk about. There's one parent on the top, one parent at the bottom. Their 3 babies were in the middle. One was descending. One of the parents went instinctively, like not even a batting of an eye, went right underneath the baby and pushed her right higher than the other 2 in the air, past the parent, the one that was higher than the babies. So it's like, that's exactly how your belief system is. We're going to let you fly. And we're going to be there, to guide you and guide your way. Very white heart. I posted that a couple days ago, where it's just like, even in the unknown, remember in the wild unknown where the 10 of Wands were intertwined, it's like, you shall not pass, like you shall not move forward. And it's like, they were saying it was illusion. Like you're going to bust through that. And it's like, it's all going to disintegrate. It is illusion. We're trying to tell you, you can't move forward. So you stay in that. And you're just like, oh, heck no. Like, I'm going to go through that. I may get poked and scraped and, scratches and a little bit of bleeding, but I'll get through it. Like, battle scars. You know what I mean? You're a warrior. I hate the word survivor. I hate the word victim. You're not none of those things. You are a warrior. You know what I mean? You take your licks and you keep going. You what is it? Take a beating and keep on ticking. They're showing the, Timex. That's the Timex logo, but I feel like they're saying the word time is what showed up. Ace of Pentacles. So you may be literally writing pentagrams. If you do that, that's what speaks to you. If you do this for positive purposes with pentagrams, you know what I mean? Look, mountain in the background just caught my... So you're about to ascend a mountain. So brand new beginning, this does mean that. It's like open your hands to receive. And I feel like financial, but I also feel wisdom. Like Pentacles is seen as financial, but it also is seen as like wisdom and grounding energies. And I feel like that's what they're saying. Something is coming up here. There's a new opportunity coming up here. And look what he's doing, spreading his wings and fly. So this could literally be the evolution of this young individual, because that's what it looks like. Every card is like, vulnerable, maybe like a baby. You're worried about their future. They're a teenager here. You know what I mean? But they're watching, like they're coming into their manliness or their whatever, their adulthood. And it's just like, they will never let you fall. You know what I mean? Like they're definitely a support system for you. So that's what I'm saying. Like, this is where they're going to get their wings and fly. They're about to go on a new adventure. You know what I mean? Because that really messes with... Everyone's different. Because even my son said that to me. Like, because how I was... And look, there's an S right here. But S initial may be significant. So I feel like, where they're saying, like, getting their wings and fly, I feel like, sometimes we go through... Like, with myself, I've been working for, like, I don't know how long. And, life has had a lot of nonsense going on where... I didn't have time for any of that. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's very different for our kids, thankfully, because we're the breaker of chains. We're not, there's something wrong with that generation. For all of you that have parents that are great in that generation, God bless. So a lot of 3s here. And again, communication. So 6 is 12. So 3, yeah, breaks down to 3 still. Communication with their ancestors, numerology, my apologies. So communication with our ancestors, communication with our past loved ones, or spirit, or Yahweh Yeshua. I never want to say, like, I communicate with God, because it's like, who am I? You know what I mean? So spirit, divine, whoever is, blessing me with the hearing and the seeing. But, that's what I feel like. They're about to, like, gain their wings and fly. A new opportunity. Ascend a mountain. I feel like this is very positive. You know what I mean? Like, it's a lot of answers to questions. Like I was saying, can you elaborate? Can you give me a little bit more information? I feel like I'm pulling teeth here. You know what I mean? This is a longer one. I apologize, guys. 7 of Swords in reverse, though. So this is like deceit. And this is what I'm saying. Shadow thoughts, you know what I mean? With the double eclipse energy. And I feel like because there's, they're showing the Passion of the Christ, where the adversary is basically going side by, like just floating, like with not a thought while he's struggling. You know what I mean? He knows he's going to, give up the passion, give up the Holy Spirit. His mom is oh my gosh, like I'm like, oh my God, like how she felt, like my word. You know what I mean? Like, helpless, you know what I mean? This is her child. She knows what, I don't know if she knew that's what the whole thing was. Like, I don't know if she ever knew that or if he ever told her that. I believe that he said some things like, obviously, like the movies are different from the Torah and the Bible or any spiritual book, but you know what I mean? Who would ever be okay with that? Not me. You know what I mean? And I feel like that's what they're saying. When you're vulnerable, they will put more things because they're trying to break you. They're trying to find ways to come in and break you. They don't want you to move forward because you don't know what's around the corner. They do. Right? And that's why I'm saying it's like we don't have to know everything right now. They keep on saying the unknown, and it is scary sometimes not to have all the information because I always think I'm failing. Like, literally, me and my son said the same thing. He's like, I'm afraid that I like let you guys down or failed you, and I'm like, I feel that way all the time. Don't worry. He's like, but you don't. I'm like, well, I feel that way because this is going on, and he's like, I know, Mom, but you're not. And I said, I understand that, baby. I said, but do you see what I'm saying? I'm like, you're not failing us either, so don't worry about it. You know what I mean? It's just sometimes you got to be vocal and share because it's like we're feeling the same thing for different situations and neither of us are failing. You know what I mean? It's just that's the way you feel because you don't have a solution at the moment. Chester Bennington said that in an interview that him and his therapist said his brain is bad news bear. He's like, this is a dark place. You know what I mean? And it's just like you're trying to find a way to quiet it down. You're trying to find a way. I'm sure on stage, hopefully he found some peace. Hopefully he found that peace with his family. But like I said, when things get quiet for me, that's definitely where they come in. Like, you should be doing this and this and this and this, and it's like, shut up. You know what I mean? Watch your comedies, watch your whatever it is. You know what I mean? Whatever allows you to turn off your brain and be happy. That's why I love gardening. Turn off the brain, turn on some good music, and have a good time. 10 of Cups. Unconditional love. Everything is lining up beautifully. Unconditional love, unconditional, like everything's at peace. A happy couple, happy children. Sometimes they show fur babies in this. You know what I mean? Bias stream. So they're showing a lot of peace. Everything's at calm. And that's the thing. Even though they're trying to say like there's deceit going on here, but not only unconditional love in your current family, but from your past loved ones that have transitioned from whomever you believe in. That's why I'm saying this is going to turn around. You're at the end. You know what I mean? That's why there's like, keep moving forward. So 26. So 2 plus 6 is 8. We got 88. So 16, 7, enlightenment. Sorry. You're probably like, what? It's numerology. You add the numbers down and you add them up until you can get the smallest number possible. And then that number is what the information is. But it sounds kind of crazy when you do it out loud. It's funny. And I hate math. Not like the regular math, but when you get into the like algebra and all that, I'm like, what? My brain hurts. But you feel like you're like Breaking Bad and you're a chemist or something. So 6 of Cups. This is where they're saying like, you're going to go from the 5 of Cups, which we've been getting, and it's been coming up a lot because that's how you feel. You feel isolated. You feel alone. You don't see the way forward. And that's why the word unknown. And that's where Spirit is saying you are going from the 5 of Cups because we see who you are. You're not just going to lay down and take this. Yes, sometimes we need to lay down and just recuperate our body and our mind. But you're not going to take this lying down. Just checking the time. But this is where Spirit is saying, like, things are turning around. And you got to notice those patterns in your life. Yahweh, Yeshua, Divine Creator, Gaia, Mother Earth, even your higher self, whoever you believe in, did not carry you this far, only to carry you this far. That saying, I seen in a grief group, they don't know where they saw it before, but they put that in there. God did not carry you this far, only to carry you this far. You know what I mean? Because they know who you are. They see what you've gone through. So it's like, you know what I mean? Take rest in that. You are a strong person. You are a warrior. You know what I mean? Obviously, we don't want to be warriors all the time. That armor gets heavy and we can feel the weight of it. That's when you learn not to give up. You learn to rest. You know what I mean? Because they know who you are. Billie Eilish, they're showing it again. Everything I wanted. So everybody wants me something from me now, and I don't want to let them down because they know they can count on you. But they also got to know, 3939, that when you are feeling that way, that you need rest. It's not that you don't want to help them anymore, or you just give up. No, you need to replenish too. The Ace of Cups, allow the universe to fill your cup. People around are not filling your cup. You're jingling your cup. I'm very lucky enough that my kids do. You know what I mean? Like we help each other out. And I remind my son about that. I'm like, remember when this was going on? You did this. Remember when this was going on? You did that. Now it's our turn to do reciprocate. So, you know what I mean? It's just like all of us go through journeys. Thankfully, we are the type that show up for each other. Last card, I promise. I know this was a long one, but there's just a lot of crazy freaking energies and emotions in the universe. I feel like everybody's invested in Lindsay Clancy right now. If you're able to, and I am not associated with that whatsoever, she's got a GoFundMe going. Her parents did not become millionaires. That all went to lawyers' bills. Please don't kid yourself. And anyone, I hope you never gone through that, 4040 is out there. If you've ever lost someone from an untimely passing, and imagine how traumatic that is, what happened, whatever you believe happened, obviously, bruises on her upper thighs and the blood on the outside of the house. Someone was pushing her and she was trying to fight to stay back, not fall the way she did. But anyway, that is going all towards the lawyers. And I guarantee you, if you gave them $1 billion tomorrow, that will never replace what they lost. They are fighting for their daughter right now. You know what I mean? So as I hate that headline, oh, they become billionaires. They are millionaires. By God's grace, they become billionaires. But that will never change. No amount of money will ever replace what they lost. I'm telling you that right now. As someone that has gone through an untimely passing, wasn't able to say goodbye, not nearly as traumatic as, God forbid, as they went through. I don't pray that on anyone. You know what I mean? Send your prayers to them. Send your prayers to her. Because nobody should be going through what they're going through. 4141. But if you're able to donate even $5, $10, it will make a difference. And again, think about all the experts they're calling in and all the data and everything they had to get for all of this. Remember all that. You know what I mean? It's just like, again, that doesn't make up for anything. But getting back to the whole point of this, and again, if you don't want to, whatever your opinion, this is not to blow up my video and be like, oh, blah, blah, blah. No. I'm not trying to get clickbait or anything like that. I'm just saying my heart goes out to her. I used to be invested into a lot of things with Nancy Grace with this kind of situations. And then when it was Casey Anthony and she was found not guilty and all those other babies, Kyron, Horman, and everybody else that went missing, you know what I mean? It's just like, oh my God, that poor baby has never been found since. You know what I mean? We all know what happened, but they're probably like, prove it. You know what I mean? And unfortunately in this world, you know what I mean? It's like, I feel like if you're a part of those groups and stuff like that, I feel like we're doing more investigating than the freaking attorney general there. It's like, is this your first day out of school or something? Anyway, but Two of Pentacles, this is what is rounding out to be, is balance. And they're showing the traditional meaning where the individual's on one foot. So even when you're off balance or things are off balance, you will still some way find balance in your life. They're showing the infinity symbol. As things move out of your life, new things are moving in. Obviously, it's not as quickly as we want. That moved out. Okay, where's the thing that's going to move in? We want it instantaneously. You know what I mean? It's like, I want it now. But sometimes we have to go through the emotions to get to that part of things. So, learn to be patient and understanding. And sometimes it takes a little longer, but you will get to the other side of this. I promise you this is ending. Like, you know what I mean? And you will be better when you come out of this. All of you. So I hope you enjoyed this quick card pull. May the universe bless you good. Have a beautiful weekend. We'll see you for the next Daily Tarot card.